Look at that. We're going to interrupt our regularly scheduled show here for some breaking news on the jump. The Pistons announcing Blake Griffin out indefinitely after undergoing successful surgery on his left knee. Griffin has played just 18 games this season, was averaging a career-low 15.5 points a game. Scottie, the expectation is not that he come back for the rest of the year. And look at his recent injury history. Now, those numbers have gone down in terms of games he's missed, but we're really staring down the barrel of another season where it looks like we're going to have a big fat number there. He is owed $109.8 million on his contract through 2022. What do you see his future here?
Wow. Well, it's not looking bright as far as him being on the basketball court. He has to get himself healthy. I think over the last 3 seasons, he's been in and out of games and dealing with these injuries. And you got to give a lot of credit to the Clippers. They saw this coming. You know, Blake Griffin has not been the player that he was when he was playing with the Clippers, the fall that he's taken. So at this point, it's time for him to focus on getting his body together. Again, we don't expect to see him on the court, and this is a very exciting, high-flying player. So that's the tool of his game is his athleticism. So he has to be able to get himself back on the court and be the player that he once was, or we may not be seeing this player again.
Well, he sort of joins John Wall as having one of the most toxic contracts in the league because of the repeated injuries. This, again, second surgery on this knee just since last season. Mm-hmm. He really doesn't have much of a choice, he and the Pistons. He has to just rehab the best he can and come back and make the best of the situations he possibly can. That's really the only choice. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because when you watched him play last season, where they found a niche for him within Dwayne Casey's offense, he really had a phenomenal year. All NBA, proved that he had more in the tank, played hurt on that knee in the playoffs against the Bucks.
In and out of the playoffs, yes.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that had anything to do with any damage on that knee, but you really respected what he went through last year. To me, this is just another indication of clarity for the Pistons. They have to go through a rebuild route because, a year ago they had Blake Griffin and a plan and a franchise player. Now I don't know even if he returns what he'll be. So I think it actually, in a way, the one upside from this is it should give the Pistons clarity.
I mean, they certainly were having trade explorations for Andre Drummond. Yeah. Maybe someone wants Derrick Rose. We'll see sort of what happens there with them. But
well, I think Andre Drummond's value just went up.
Certainly the motivation to move him did, for sure. All right, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Zach Lowe. More breaking news reporting that the NBA now reconsidering its idea to reseed the 4 conference finalists in the playoffs. Remember, that reseeding part of a larger proposal to overhaul the league calendar. There's talk of, hey, maybe we have play-ins for the 7th and 8th, that midseason tournament. Sources telling Woj and Lowe there is an increasing chance the reseeding part of the proposal will be eliminated before the Board of Governors even get to vote. If you read their story, they talk about the coastal teams on the East and West Coast saying that they thought the travel would be too arduous if they ended up playing basically the conference finals and the finals in effect, possibly like this, when maybe 2 teams in the middle would get to have small travel. Brian, I know that they don't put it up before the Board of Governors if they don't think they have the votes. I get that. How come they don't have the votes? This was the only part of the proposal I thought was really cool. That's the thing,
like, this is something that actually could be doable. It's an easy.
It's not reseeding 1 through 16. It's not doing the whole thing. It's not
creating a mid-season tournament. It's not creating a play-in tournament. It's something that, in theory, could be implemented like that.
The WNBA already does it.
The difficulty is this, and whenever it comes to any major changes in the NBA, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to come back to it. To get a change like this, you have to get 20 of the owners to vote. When it comes to any reseeding, if you're an Eastern Conference team. Now, let me just point out that this year, the tops of the 2 conferences actually look relatively even. But for the last 20 years, the West has dominated the East. So any reseeding whatsoever, if you're an East team, why would any East team, much less 4 that you would need, actually 5 that you would need, why would any of them vote for it? And they just don't have the votes, bottom line. It's not even about the quality of the idea or the implementation or anything like that. They just don't have the votes. You need 5 teams in the East to say, oh, yes, I'd be willing to maybe make my road to the finals harder, and it's just not going to happen.
Again, it just would be reseeding those last 2 rounds, Scottie.
Yeah, but here's why I don't like it.
You don't like it.
And when you talk about a team that plays in the West, they're only playing the team in the East twice.
Right.
So when you talk about keeping analytics, you're talking about playing in the playoffs, and you're trying to beat a team, you need to beat them face that team 4 times. maybe 5, maybe 6. When you're playing these East Coast, West Coast teams, they see each other twice. So you're not going to have much familiarity when you're talking about a team in the East that may be playing against the Lakers. They've only played against them twice. So you don't have enough to be able to compete.
This just sounds like it'd be more fun for me, though. So as a viewer, I want to see it.
It sounds to me like if I'm an Eastern Conference team, I might have to beat 2 Western Conference teams to win the title, is what it sounds like.
Well, you know, it's hard to win a title.
But I think at the end of the day, you want to play against teams that you're familiar to playing against all season long. You have a chance to beat them.
Right. I get that. I get what you're saying about the Eastern teams. I guess I just sort of feel like winning a title is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be hard.
Yes.
And you might have the bad luck of facing a team where you have to travel back and forth from coast to coast. Maybe it's Portland-Miami series. I don't know. Maybe you have the bad luck of being born in an era where Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen's Bulls are dominating and you just can't break through and win a title. Things happen where you have to face it whatever year you come up.
I think your better argument, Rachel, is just to say it's better for the fans to do it this way. And ultimately, they should worry about the fans, but it's complicated.
I wanted this to happen, and now it's not, and I'm sad.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.